Everybody, here's Anna, also known as Ehrenamt, and this is my 131st episode of the Ehrenamt podcast. I talk about knitting and crocheting, and today we have two new segments, two new chapters of this podcast. And you can skip the chapters you are not so much interested in because I use timestamps, and you can go in the description box below and pick the chapter you're interested in, or you just use the, is it called toolbar of the player here on YouTube just to skip. Okay, today I want to show you finished objects, works in progress. I have a shop info for you. The new segment I want to start today is my favorite comment. So I choose a comment you wrote under one of my latest videos and I read it out to you and tell you why I like it so much. Then the next new segment is Make and Pray. As you know, I started a charity knitting group and I received a lot of shawls and cowls and so on. I have a huge basket filled here next to me and I want to show them and tell you a story of Make and Pray. Then I want to talk about Knitalongs, and I will answer 4 or maybe even 5 InstaKnitNight questions. Let's start. Let's start with the finished objects. Okay, my last podcast is about a month ago. I was sick for 2 weeks. Then we had Easter. That means another 2 weeks I wasn't able to podcast and so on. And you might assume now Anna must have a heap of finished objects. No, I don't have that. I don't know, I concentrated on one project and that's why I don't have so many finished objects. But I have some tiny ones and I love them and they were so much fun to make. First finished object is not only one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th is still on the garland. It was way too up high. I couldn't reach it. My Easter eggs. I knitted some Easter eggs. I have published a free pattern. You can find it on my website. You can't find it on Etsy because it seems like I can't offer free patterns on Etsy. I don't know why. They want me to charge you. I haven't found out how it goes. So free patterns only on my website. And I used Opal yarn leftovers and one Regia leftover, which is this one. And I will show you a close-up now. Okay. This is my first Regia. They weigh 2 or 3 grams. So you need 2 or 3 grams of sock yarn leftovers and 2 grams of stuffing. I used polyester stuffing, so it's not so heavy. I didn't have raw or unspun wool. You can use that as well. Some people like to stuff their knitted items with scraps if you don't want to use them in knitting projects, or fabric leftovers. And I didn't plan how they stripe. I just started the scrap, the leftover, and went with it. And I mean, for example, this one looks like planned, designed, like it was meant to be there, this yellow stripe. It's looking perfect, but it's just how the yarn was striping, and these stripes are so pretty. Yeah, so I had much fun. So maybe you can remember if you watched some of my Vlogmas episodes, we have a staircase, and during Advent and Christmas I have a faux evergreen garland around the stairs or the staircase, or I don't know how it's called, and I attach the little stockings I knit for Tommy as an advent calendar there. So I fill them every year, and it's his advent calendar, and it's a pretty decoration. And every time I put it up, I put it away, I think now it looks so naked. I think you know the feeling after putting away the Christmas decorations. The flat looks so naked and empty. And usually it only takes 2 weeks or so and I'm used to it again, and it looks fresh and tidy and clean, and spring can come. But the staircase, no, I wasn't getting used to it. I thought there is missing something, so I bought a faux eucalyptus and, oh, what is Buchsbaum in English? I looked it up once. So the Latin word is Buxus. Maybe you can read it on the screen. So I bought these 2 fake garlands, twisted them around so it looks a little more filled, and now I attach seasonal decorations. So for example, the Easter eggs for Easter, and I'm already thinking about some other cute things, maybe hearts, or maybe you have some ideas for during the summer, and in autumn you can attach leaves and pumpkins and these kind of things, and then it's Christmas here again. So, and then I swap out the garland. So I will keep the garland on my staircase for the whole year. Only for December and January I will keep the fake evergreen garland. So I swap it out to the evergreen garland. I'm sorry. And they are so much fun. They are so easy to make. When I was writing this pattern, I tried different increasing techniques, and at first I used the obvious. It was make one, and I think make one left was it, and it's such a pain in the, you know, it is so, I was when something doesn't work right and it's tight to knit and so on, I lift my shoulders and I'm cramped and I get headache, and I don't like that. Knitting should be fun. So I decided to use another increase. I don't know if I made it up. I didn't find it anywhere else. So maybe I made it up, or maybe it's just, I don't know. I used it already often when I lost stitches. And it was important to have the right stitch count, and then I just made the stitch this way, and so I wrote it into the pattern. It's very easy. You simply knit a stitch, and then with the left needle you go 1 row or 2 row, which is easier to catch for you, below the first stitch, so below the stitch on your right hand needle, and you simply knit that stitch and you have increased 1 stitch. And that's how I do it here, and it's so much easier, so much fun. Okay, and I saw many people downloading this pattern and knitting this pattern, and someone made something special for the school of her son, I think, and some gifted them, some decorated their flat with them. I definitely will knit more eggs, maybe throughout the year, maybe during Lent next year. I want to have more. I think all in all I have 10 eggs now, and the garland is looking good, but I could use more. And I have another garland over my bookshelves, where I usually have a fake evergreen garland during Advent and Christmas as well. And I have no eggs for that garland yet, so I will make more. And another ornament is finished. I think that will be an ongoing knitting project for me from now on, because first it's cute, second it's fun, third I always have leftovers even after working on my scrappy projects. And this is a Opal leftover as well, and it is a tiny little sweater, still on the ugly hanger. I don't think I showed you this sweater before, or did I show you? I know I posted it on Instagram, but I think I didn't show you the finished object. And on Instagram, if you look up my feed, it's a relatively recent post, you will find it quickly. I showed you a pre and after blocking photo. So if you are going to knit this, you find the pattern links and everything in the description box below. If you want to knit this, I highly recommend blocking. And what do I mean by blocking? Just soak it a little bit. You don't have to soak it for 20 minutes. I just rinsed it in the water. Rinsed it? No, so I I made sure this is wet. Then I rinsed it, yes. Laid it down flat and pressed and pulled here and there and pressed here and there to make sure everything looks nice and clean, and it doesn't take long to dry. You can put it out now and then that the sun comes out. Put it out in the sun and it will be dry within half an hour or so, or an hour. And I already ordered bigger paper clips. One of you recommended it to me. I don't know why I didn't think of it myself. I tried the normal paper clips. I think they are about 1 inch long. Wait, is it 1 inch? 1 inch are 2.5 centimeters, I think. So a little, maybe 3/4 of an inch long, and that's too small. But I didn't think of bigger paper clips. So now I ordered on Amazon paper clips that are 2 inches long, so 5 centimeters, and that should be big enough to make pretty hangers for these sweaters. I found golden ones on Amazon, so the color is golden, not real gold. There are many different colored paper clips made, so coated with plastic. Some have, for example, I think the one I ordered have, I don't know how to explain that, where the wire ends here and here on the paper clips. They have a ball-shaped ending, so it's not poking or splitting stitches or something. And I think they did it so that these paper clips don't scratch the paper or the folder or the file or whatever you use it for. Yeah, very much fun, very easy. I admit it's always a little bit fiddly. If you are not used to knitting with DPNs, so 5 needles at one time, don't start with these projects. Don't start with tiny little projects. Start with a sock or a leg warmer or wrist warmer or something, and when you are used to it, you can use small, thinner yarn and tinier objects. Otherwise you would be frustrated and give it up, and I don't want you to give up because it's so much fun. Let me see, do I have more finished objects? Oh, I used fingering weight yarn and 2.5mm needles, so if you are interested. I know some people say, okay, why do you say that? Everyone has another gauge and another tension. For me, it's always very, very interesting to hear which needles people use for which yarn. For example, if I watch a podcaster for... So if I watch a certain podcast on a regularly, and she always says, okay, I always use 2mm needles for my socks. And then she says, oh, with this yarn I use 2.5mm. That is an interesting information for me, because that means maybe I should go up half a needle size as well, because maybe the yarn is thicker or other yarns are thinner, like West Yorkshire spinners. That is, for example, a yarn I have to knit with 2mm needles. And usually I always use 2.5mm needles. Okay. Oh, the German word of the day. I skipped that in the intro. We have a German word of the day before we come to works in progress. The German word of the day is the word Ehrenamt. It's a very typical German word. Ehrenamt. It would be volunteer work, I would say. Ehrenamt means you do something for someone else without getting money, but you do it on a regular basis. It's not something you do once. An Ehrenamt is something you do on a regular basis without expecting something else in exchange, money or something else. So you do it for free for other people, to help other people or an institution. And why I like the German word Ehrenamt so much, because it's not word by word translated volunteer work. That would be freiwillige Arbeit, so something you do without someone is forcing you. Ehrenamt would be word by word honor office. it's very an epic word, I think. So Ehre is honor, and to have an Amt in German means to run an office, to have an office, so to be someone in a certain position. Ehrenamt. Why is that today's German word of the day? First of all, because it's something Germany is famous for. Many institutions are run only by volunteer workers. For example, most fire departments in Germany are run completely by volunteer workers. Is that the right word? Volunteer workers. So we have, I don't know, Berufsfeuerwehr is the German word. So we have fire departments where firemen, firefighter, how are they called? Work, who get a salary, but most of our fire departments are not like that, and they work just as good, I promise. So that is something, and there are many other institutions where people work voluntarily, and without these institutions, Germany would collapse. Yeah, really. So institutions like, I think the abbreviation is THW, Technisches Hilfswerk. I can't translate this, but they come, for example, when we have catastrophes like floods, or I don't know, when the forest is burning or something. So, for example, helpers, they come and help you, and when there is a catastrophe, and I can't imagine Germany without these institutions and organizations and so on. You know, I worked, for example, but I had a salary. I worked professionally for a pregnancy help center, but I think we only were like 5 or 6 people, and everyone else was doing it voluntarily. So Ehrenamt. Germany is for a big part run by Ehrenamtlern, so by volunteer workers. And I'm talking about this today because I want later on talk about Make and Pray. After my miscarriage, I wasn't able to go on with my former Ehrenamt, with my former volunteer work, when I was counseling pregnant women in need who didn't know if they should keep the child or decide to abort it. And I can't do that now with this experience I had, maybe later in the future, but I wanted to do something voluntarily. I always had something I did voluntarily, a job, small or big. I prepared former Muslims for the baptism, for example. I helped in my, college? It's a Hochschule. I had several different jobs. I always did something voluntarily in my parish, And so I started Make and Pray. It's something I need. I need a volunteer work, otherwise I don't feel content. I feel miserable when I don't only want to work for money. That's something now you can say, okay, you can work for your home, for your husband, for your children, you are caring for home and so on. Yes, but that's not enough for me. And it's lovely to reach goals with your Ehrenamt. To see, for example, I don't know, some people could raise money and they donate it to a specific cause, for example, for a children's hospital, and then you see you see the fruits of your efforts, and you see, I don't know, they could afford this or that for the children's hospital. Wow. Or with Make and Pray, you see all the items people ship to me, and I see the recipients, how they smile and feel comfort. And for us, it's a small thing to knit or crochet a shawl, but for them it means the world. And I will talk about it later on in more detail, because I have a lovely story to tell you. The German word of the day, Ehrenamt. Honor office, word by word translated. Now we come to works in progress, and I have 3 works in progress for you. This is, I should have finished this already by now, but this is still my pink block from my Cozy Memories blanket you see behind me. For those of you who don't know, I am making color blocks and attach them to each other, and I think I have 12, but I want to make 15, so the blanket is huge. It is already big enough, and I haven't even washed it yet, so after blocking it will be enormous, but I like big blankets. And here is one side of the border, and now I need to do it here, here, and here as well. I wanted to finish the next square within this month, but it's still untouched. This will be my last color block, and I haven't knit one square in this month. I wanted to knit a square every day, but I was focusing on another project for Make and Pray. I will show you in a few moments. So this took the back seat, and it's not a problem. I have enough blankets. This is on the go since 2016, so 1 or 2 months longer, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, I use 2.5mm needles, 40 stitches, and I have explained how I do the border so many times. If you are new and you want to know this, just write in the comments down below, and I will explain everything, and I will link you to my project pages and so on, and that makes it easier to understand. So 3 sides are to go and 1 block is to go, and then I'm finished. And I think I should finish the other 2 blankets I still have on the go first before I start another scrappy project, but I think I know myself good enough to foresee that I start another scrappy project anyways. So yeah, I'm still holding myself back because I want to finish this first. The second work in progress, I worked maybe a few centimeters. It's still on the needles since February. I wasn't so much in sock knitting mood lately, so that is why I still haven't turned the heel. This is Opal yarn, and it's really, was it, no, that's the wrong tag. I thought already that this is wrong. This was the Dreams, yeah, I think so, or Memories collection, and I think this is called like the First Love or something. I have knit another pair of socks out of this collection already. It looks the same, but the main color here is pink, and in the other ball was purple, lilac. Yeah, it's fun, it's pretty, but I wasn't so much in sock knitting mood, so I was knitting this in the car. I don't know, lately it works quite well. Tommy is a very good and calm driver, and when we are on the highway I can knit plain stockinette. Maybe because I don't have to look down. Maybe that's the key. For example, reading or on the phone or in the book or something is not possible for me. That was already a problem when I was a child, and I feel like it's getting worse with my, is it car sickness? I need to find, as a child I took some herbs or so in a pill. It was some kind of pill for children, but it wasn't something chemical. So I wasn't feeling so sick during the car drives, and that helped a lot. I know our students had to take them when we drove the bus to I don't know if you had how it's called in English. So if we went for a school trip, because usually children get sick in the bus, and it's not funny for a teacher to care for that. Yeah. So the next work in progress is my last work in progress, and it's the one I was mainly focusing on. It's my project for Make and Pray. It's a crochet project. I am using a 3.5mm hook. It's a free pattern on Ravelry in German and in English. And there is one, not two similar, but one exact the same. One English tutorial for that on YouTube, so you can also just watch the YouTube channel. I linked it below, the YouTube video, and you don't need the pattern. But I like to have a look every now and then on the pattern. It's very easy. But I really want to avoid making mistakes, and that's why I like to keep the pattern. And here is what I did. It's a triangular shawl made out of a homespun house, Berry Berry, I think it's called. I received it as a present from someone. I'm on the second skein, and I will only use 2 skeins. And honestly, I'm not sure if I use up the second skein, because it's already very huge, and it's for a 10-year-old girl. So if you have an advice for me, should I make a normal sized shawl as I would do for me? Or should I make it smaller, because she's 10 years old? But in a few years it would fit her perfectly, and then a children's shawl would be a problem. So I don't know. So it's not blocked yet. I would have to make it longer for me. But I think after blocking, this would already fit a child. But I want to make sure she can use it for a long time. So, and why is this called butterfly shawl? Because it's a lace pattern that creates butterflies. You see a white background where you can see it better. Yeah. And it is so much fun. Usually I crochet with self-striping yarns or gradient yarns or something, and knit as well, because in the past I was bored by unicolors, but now I think I've grown up now. I've grown up now. It's so much fun, and the yarn is so soft, and I don't mind that I'm using the same color all the time, and I'm sure she will love it. I know she likes this color. I asked her mom, and it is so soft. And maybe I will make such a shawl for myself as well. And that's something I want to talk about a little bit also today. Unicolors and boring, quote-unquote boring, patterns. Maybe it's why I stopped knitting the socks I have on my needles. I don't know. I think I need more classic items in my wardrobe. For example, for Easter, it was still very cold. We celebrated Easter in Bavaria, and it was still very cold, and churches are always cold, old churches. So I wore my dress and, how it's called, pantyhose, and the shoes. And usually I wear socks, and I posted a picture when I go for a walk with Benny. I think it's fun to wear colorful socks in your shoes when you wear a skirt or a dress, because you can see the colors, and it's fun, and it looks fun and colorful. But not on Sundays or when I go to church and so on. So that should look a little bit more elegant. And then I thought, okay, shoes and pantyhose were black. Maybe a pair of black or dark gray shorter socks with a nice ribbing, maybe with lace or so, or with a lace pattern, would look very pretty, flattering, and keep me warm. And I think that is something I should do for socks, for shawls. So one colored elegant shawls that fits many coats and dresses and so on. And another thing, I wasn't knitting pullovers or sweaters for a long time now, over a year I think, because I'm not wearing them anymore. I went over to wearing dresses and skirts, at most of the time dresses, pretty much exclusively, because I'm sick of trousers. I really am sick of them. I don't feel well in them. I don't think they are comfortable. Most of the times they don't look pretty. Then yeah, it's hard to look elegant in them, and and you know what, looking in a mirror and I'm wearing trousers and something, I always think, ew. when I put on a dress, I think, yeah, you look good. So I will stay with that. But I need something to be warm. For example, this dress has, yeah, not short sleeve, I would say half sleeves. And I can't wear that without something over it. I need a cardigan or something. But long cardigans look silly on these dresses. So I need cropped cardigans. But not these shapeless cropped cardigans that were en vogue lately. They need to have a nice fitted shape and a pretty hem, and they should look pretty and fitted. And that's not easy to find. And then I changed the way I was looking for these patterns. I was looking for cropped cardigans, cropped pullover, cropped sweater. And then I added the word vintage. Vintage cropped cardigan. And boom, there were so many pretty patterns. And most of the patterns weren't even vintage. It was only the vintage, so 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe 60s style. And now I found a pattern. I will start with an easier one, and I will use Opal unicolored sock yarn. And I had a look on my dresses. Because I don't want to make a cardigan I can only wear over one dress. It has to fit several dresses. And I should be good with 2 skeins of Opal yarn, and then I have a new cardigan I can wear over my dresses. So that means I can wear my summer dresses all year round. And also when I go to church, for example. Because in church you have to cover up. And yeah, after finishing this, I will cast on a cropped cardigan for me. And I hope I will find, or I will be able to knit a really good fitting, to my body shape, fitting cardigan, so that I have a standard recipe, and then I can always change it up with different lace patterns and so on. So this I'm going to knit, maybe I can insert it here or here, is pretty simple. Only on the sleeve there's a pretty easy looking lace detail. So that was just a side note. Yeah, and more of these unicolored things. I need more of these. Yeah, that doesn't mean I stop knitting my funny, colorful sock yarns. No, I will never stop to knit with them. But I think I need a few unicolored items, standard items I use on a regular basis. So I just have them to look preppy, elegant, and put together for church, for example. Okay, let me see. What was I going to tell you? A short shop info. I told you there is a free pattern for these Easter eggs. I have several. I think I have already 13 patterns on my website. And I think 3 or 4 or maybe even 5, I don't know, of them are for free. So you should have a look. And the other thing in my shop, which is new, is it's April, right? Yeah, the April batch for Anna's Knit Club. If you remember Anna's Knit Club, so that will lead us to Knitalongs, is our knit club on Telegram and on Instagram. It's I draw winners only from Instagram. And our knit club is like a book club. Everyone can participate. You don't have to sign up somewhere. You don't have to pay. You don't have to do nothing. I use the hashtag Anna's Knit Club, and every month I come around with a new prompt. So we knit for a prompt, and this month you knit, or no, you make. You can knit, crochet, weave, or whatever. You have to make birds or flowers or something with drape. Okay, for example, a dress has drape, a stole or a shawl has drape. Why? Because it's spring and flowers and birds are so delicate, and some items are delicate because of their drape. And for every month I make a batch. You can iron on wherever you want, but I don't have it with me now. I will insert a photo. I have them in my shop, and many of you bought them already. There is a project bag that fits, I don't know, 6 balls of yarn or so. and it doesn't look like that. It looks quite small, but it fits a lot. And you can iron on the badges there when you participated or maybe finished your project for the month. Last year, for example, we made household items, and this is my badge. I still have to iron it on. I think that's sold out. That was for last month. And this was the badge for February. This is still available in the shop. It's also very pretty. And every bag comes with an ironed on Anna's Knit Club badge. I love these. I'm a collector. I love these kind of things. And these two are available in the shop. And I love this one. It looks so vintagey. It's so pretty. Yeah. Okay, next up. My favorite comment this week is from Ines Foreman, and she writes, Anna, when I decided to read the Bible in 1 year, I changed the method a few times. Finally decide to purchase an index card for filling with index dividers cards with tabs. I also used colored pens, and I classified what I was reading. For example, scriptures could be for marriage to healing. So when someone needs help with the healing, I could look it up in my cards and pray scripture, or even make a card with the scripture for that person. I took that year and really read and studied in 1 year. That is such a great advice. So she was commenting on my struggles with reading the Bible within a year. I found a way. I hope I can keep it up. I'm reading in the Bible every day. I don't do it along with crocheting at the moment anymore. I focus on that every day, a few chapters, 2 or 3 chapters I read. And I'm finishing, pronunciation, Deuteronomy at the moment. And so, yeah, it's good. And I mark and highlight the verses that stand out to me. Now let's talk about Make and Pray. I explained already what Make and Pray is, but I will sum it up again. So Make and Pray was found by me. It's basically a prayer shawl ministry, but we don't only knit or crochet prayer shawls. You could also make socks or cowls or something, a blanket. And I told you I needed a new Ehrenamt for me, so a volunteer work. And I like the idea of making something for someone else who is in a difficult situation and pray for this person. So I invite you to participate if you are willing to ship it to Germany, because all the items I make and I receive, I wash them and block them and wrap them nicely and add a note I sign in your name. And I wish if you come to our Make and Pray group, you can find everything about it and how to contact me about it on my website. There is a menu, Make and Pray. I will let you know what this note says. It's basically saying, hey, this is a gift for you. I was praying for you when I made it, and I keep praying for you, because I don't want them to think that I make all these things. So I write your first name under this text. And then I ship or bring everything to my spiritual director, who is living in Bavaria, and he blesses all these things. I have a photo of him blessing it here. And they distribute it in their pastoral care to the people who need it. So, and when I visited him on Easter, he blessed the 2 items I made, because I hadn't received anything yet from you. When I returned, I had a huge parcel and then a new shipment and another one. So now I have a whole bag of things I want to show you. So I had these 2 boxes. I handed them over to him, and he said, oh, I think Brother Martin has someone who could need it. Let's go to him. And we took the 2 boxes. I came to him. I studied with him theology back then. We know each other. And he said, oh yeah, there's this girl. She's suffering from, vaccine injuries. She was forced to get the vaccine, and now she suffers from Actually, it's the same like long COVID. So she has the same symptoms, but everyone has different symptoms. But not everyone has different symptoms, but not everyone has always the same symptoms. So she's only 18 and suffers from it for a year now, without help, without a certificate that says that she suffers from it, without a certificate that proves that she's not able to work. So you can imagine she won't receive any financial help from the government. And she has no energy. She's totally weak. She has breathing problems. She can't sleep at night. And other things. I don't want to go into the details for her privacy. But her problems are huge, and she's only 18. And so I said to Brother Martin, that is exactly the person who should receive a little package from us, so to comfort her. And he visited her on Easter, and she was so thrilled and so touched and thankful that she wanted to meet me. And she invited us over. Tommy and I visited her, and she only could handle a visit for 30 minutes. After that, she was already very exhausted and had to lay down for a while. But we had a very inspiring talk, and the way she was talking about her suffering and being so helpless because no one can help her, no doctor knows what could help her, and she tried several different treatments, some of which didn't help, some of them harmed her actually, so her sleeping problems came from one of the treatments, but other people who have the same symptoms said it helped them and they got over these symptoms with that treatment. So it's really a trial and error thing, and no doctor knows what to do. Yeah, but she was so positive, and her trust in Jesus was so strong. For an 18, she couldn't make her driver's license, she couldn't finish her apprenticeship, she's only sitting at home all day, but she was so joyful and courageous and not bitter, and that is only possible with faith. It's the only way to carry such a burden, such an unfair burden, because she was forced to get that. And that inspired me to carry my cross, my tiny little cross, compared to her huge cross, a little bit more patiently. It was, and to be thankful that I'm healthy. Yeah, I'm waiting for a child. I would like to be pregnant, and we wait and wait and wait. But it's something totally different to be sick without getting help, without knowing when this will be over. Okay? So that was very good and inspirational for me, and she was very touched. She received the cowl I crocheted, and she was very thankful. And she even said she is considering learning to crochet or to knit now as well, to make something for other people. You have to imagine that. Yeah, that was lovely. And the other girl, only 1 year older, I didn't met her, but she had COVID, and she is suffering from similar symptoms because now she has long COVID. So one of the girls had a vaccine injury and the other one was infected with COVID, and she has similar symptoms because of that. Is something very interesting, that both of these cases happened the same time, and I learned about these two ladies at the same time, so it's interesting. So the one had the vaccine and had these symptoms, the other one had COVID and had these symptoms. So yeah, it's like gambling. It's like gambling. You never know what you get. But they both were very touched to receive these things. And now I want to show you what I have received from you guys. I won't say who shipped this to me because I don't know if I'm allowed to. One shipment is from someone I know from Austria, and she added, we have to count together. And I will insert photos here as well because I won't put everything around me because it would take too long. Here is a huge shawl. That makes 1. Then here is a scarf. 2. A cowl. This is my favorite. 3. A huge triangular shawl. 4. And 5. And the last one, number 6. This is lovely as well. I love that. I love all these items, but the colors are so pretty. 6. From another lady from the US, I received 3 very pretty triangulars. And the colors match so well. It's so perfect. I want to show you all these. I washed and blocked these already. And now I will wrap them nicely. So maybe I should make a photo so you can so you have an idea how it will look when I hand these over. And then I will all ship them to Bavaria because I don't want to wait until summer when I drive there the next time. Then I received from that looks like it's pounds, so that means Great Britain. Yeah, it's from, I don't know if I'm allowed, but you know who you are. So I haven't washed or blocked that yet, but this is so pretty. It's a cowl and look at these colors. She said she held cotton and some fingering, so I guess wool together. Oh, it's so pretty. She was worried that it looks too stiff, but it doesn't. It's so pretty. I have to make one of those for me. These colors are perfect. It looks so pretty. Sorry. All these items are stunning. I'm so thankful for your generosity. And I have received also yesterday, that's from the States, 2 very lovely, squishy, huge triangular shawls. I think it's called the bubble shawl or bubble stitch shawl. I couldn't even make a photo with it yet. Why do I make photos with these items? It has a very practical reason. Let me show you the last one. She told me she held 2 opal fingering weight yarns together. And it looks amazing. And when I touched them without reading the note, I was so blown away by the softness, and I thought, oh, which yarn did she use? And then I read that's Opal. I just love Opal. Oh, it's lovely. Now, I usually write a thank you card to everyone who ships something to me, but the 2 arrived yesterday, so I still have to write them and wash and block and everything. Why do I make photos? I can show you. Of these items. I make very small photos because you know, I'm handing these pretty items over and they are wrapped and in a box. And I thought, okay, I'm handing over these items to men. They live in a monastery, so they don't care about fashion. Needless to say. So, and I thought, okay, it would be helpful if I write down what is in the box, so they can decide who receives what. Or maybe they can ask the recipient, do you have a favorite color? So I was writing down, so that is the material, that is the color, that is the way you wash it. And the item is, for example, a triangular shawl, a scarf, a cowl. but these men don't know what all these things are. And I was already worried that this could happen. That is why I wrote this so detailed. And when I was offering Brother Martin the 2 items I had for the girls, he couldn't decide who should receive what. So I explained to him, oh, this is this and this is that. And I saw question marks in his face. And then my spiritual director and I decided, okay, maybe we need photos. But you don't know. I could make a photo of this only laying on the floor, and they still don't know what is that. How big is that? How do you wear that? How do you use that? So that is why I make wearing pictures, and we will stick it on the bottom of the box, so that when the brothers, the priests, want to give them away, they can have a look. Oh, that is her favorite color. Oh yeah, she needs, for example, she needs a cozy shawl. Or it's springtime and they say, no, we need something smaller. They see, oh, that is a smaller thing. And that helps them. That is why I didn't want to make photos with this in the first place, because I thought that would lead the recipients to the assumption that I made all these things. But I made this clear in the little note that I add with your name, that it's not made by me, and it's not made by me. Yeah, and this is so much fun. So this is my Ehrenamt, this is my volunteer work. I don't mind washing and blocking these things. It is so much fun to play with all these pretty items. It's very inspiring to see them, because I will definitely make some. For example, this one. This is such an amazing shawl that is used as a scarf. It's perfect. It's so squishy, and it's big and warm enough, but not too long, and it's perfect. So I will definitely make one of these for myself as well. And I see all the different yarns and all the different patterns, and it's nice to be in touch with you. It's so much fun. It's so inspiring, and I know we help people, and I can't wait to pack everything and wrap everything and ship it down to Bavaria. It will be lovely. So now to the last chapter of this week's video, InstaKnitNight questions. Okay, what is InstaKnitNight? It's something very fun. Basically, it's a hashtag. First of all, it's a hashtag on Instagram, InstaKnitNight. And every Thursday night, for me it's always Friday mornings, now it's Cindy who makes it. The woman who started that passed away, unfortunately, already. And now Cindy Knits, I think she's called, comes up with a prompt every Thursday night. For example, with a question, what is your favorite yarn? Or what is your current project? Or what is in your notions pouch, and so on. And then you are invited to share your current project. She always says, share your project and your drink and answer this question. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Okay. And some of the latest questions were, where is your favorite place to knit? Did I answer that already? Now that I read this question, I'm not sure if I answered it already. If so, I hope you don't mind. Okay, my favorite place to knit. I don't have a favorite place to knit anymore. It's difficult. I like to be somewhere in a light flooded room without many distractions, where I can concentrate on what I do. For example, here in this room it would be possible, but I don't have a cozy chair here anymore. So that's not so good. I knit everywhere. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was baking a cake, and sometimes, or when you're cooking or baking, sometimes it says do this or let it sit for 10 minutes or so. And I don't have what we call in Germany a living kitchen. That means we don't have chairs or a desk or something, or a table in the kitchen. That means I can't sit there so well, but I use a little how it's called? Is it a stool? When a step stool? I insert a photo here. And sometimes I sit there, wait these 10 minutes and crochet on my shawl or knit on my socks. I mostly knit on the sofa or the chair in the living room, sometimes in bed. Now that the weather is getting better and after I think 2 weeks of constant rain, we finally have a sunny day today. Maybe soon enough we will be able, or I will be able to sit on the balcony or the terrace to crochet and to knit. So unfortunately I don't have a favorite place. No, not anymore, not anymore. What fiber arts do you enjoy? Knitting, crocheting, cross-stitching? As a child, you told me how it's called. Hedge, to make pillows and so on, and I think it's something with hedge. I forgot. Now I will start to sew, so I don't know if this counts to fiber arts. I will start a sewing class on Monday. I like everything with yarn and fibers, everything. What good happened to you today? That's an easy one. Nice weather. I took a walk with Benny this morning and it was lovely. It wasn't freezing cold, the sun is out, it smells lovely, you hear the birds singing. I prayed my rosary during that. A wonderful start into the day. And the last question, repeat projects. Is there a particular item that you have made more than once or a beloved pattern that you keep? Okay, besides my sock recipe, I would say these Easter eggs are awesome to knit. I will make many more of them. And the simple house slippers. I made several pairs of them, and it's on my list to make some pairs for guest shoes here, so guest slippers for our living room, for our flat as well. I like to make dishes, but I don't make them that often. Yeah, but I think these are already enough. There's a neighbor. And a dog. Okay, that's everything for today. I think this should be a long episode. I don't know how long I was talking to you, but I think it was long. And I hope you enjoyed everything. Please let me know if you have questions or hints or advices, or or tell me what you are working on right now, or what you would how you would answer the questions I just answered in the comments down below. And now it's only left to say we will see each other in 2 weeks, and until then I'm wishing you lovely time with your knitting and crocheting. Until then.